And hello, how are you folks doing today? What am I going to do right now? I'm going to share my screen because I don't want to miss this just in case we have comments coming in. So I'm going to share my screen before we even talk about Neil. We're gonna start getting our workflow down here, and the screen is going to be uh, our giveaway tool because I have faith in y'all, and I'm going to turn it on right now. See, there it goes. It's going and it's a ticking. And we'll go back to Neil. So we've got that going, just in case you guys want to pop in the comments and push your hashtag peeps and be in for a free drawing. Mostly it's to encourage you guys to not be shy and make comments because I want to know what you think about things. I want to see you guys in there and giving me your opinions about what you think Neil is saying here. And let's see what Neil's got to say today. Adventures are all very well in their place, but there is a lot to be said for regular meals and freedom from pain. Yeah. So we think life needs to be exciting, right? That our life is not meaningful unless there's this incredible excitement to it. I'm going to put myself down here a little bit better. There we go. Because we need to really focus on what he's saying here. Adventures, it used to be, 100 years ago and more, when you called somebody an adventurer, it was not a compliment. It was somebody who was chasing after trivialities and ego fulfillment and not paying attention to the damage that they were doing, right? Um, I think it's becoming less fashionable now, possibly, although you would not know it by by some of the more popular YouTube channels are very much adventure stories, right? Vicarious adventures. But there is a lot to be said for regular meals and freedom from pain. And what is the price that we pay for our adventures? I've done a lot of traveling in my life. I traveled most of my life, and I started traveling at such a young age and at a time where travel was more rare than it is today. Uh, the airports were fewer and far between, especially for international travel. For local travel, they were probably closer or about the same because of the smaller planes that you had, but at which we are already returning to. But now you got to be rich to have those really super cute planes. Back when I was first starting to travel, jet planes were not necessarily the thing that you thought about. When you thought about traveling, it was those large passenger trains were still propeller. So, so you definitely needed your Dramamine and your ginger ale for those rides. They were not smooth, um, but uh, but when I traveled back in those days, I'd go to places that people were not as widely connected as they are today. Today, you can get on your cell phone and travel the world, right? The internet, the interwebs have connected us in more ways than I could have ever imagined possible. But back in those days, it was rare to see a stranger. And so if you were an adventurer, you were kind of celebrated. You were the local celebrity, at least for the day. But I was always really cognizant, and I think it's because of my grandparents and their very humble background. I was very aware of the price that other people were paying for me to have my adventure. And I'm not talking about my parents. I'm talking about the places that hosted me. Whether because who asked them? Who asked them? Nobody asked their permission for me to go visit. Not really, maybe you had to have a visa, but that didn't impact the local folks. And then when I got older, we started taking groups of high school students to places like Hawaii, but also Europe and things. And I also traveled with New York University's travel abroad program, seeing academics travel into these far-flung places. And it was just totally eye-opening for me. I could never, ever unsee what I was seeing, and that is for these folks to have their adventure, to have their holiday, it came at a price. For the, tourists that go to Hawaii, a lot of it's no mistake that Hawaii tourism is a byproduct of the pineapple and sugarcane trade because they had the boats, right? They had the boats, and it started out Hawaii tourism started out with cruises, and then their agenda was to make Hawaii an exotic destination in order for them to make it a 50th state, which is also still an issue with it's still very much a present day issue. Um, but aside from the politics of that, the sheer idea that you're gonna take a bunch of outsiders in to a place, and they paid a lot of money to do these trips, these once in a lifetime trips. They're gonna take a trip to your hometown, and what are they gonna do in your hometown, right? They're gonna ask you to pose for pictures. They wanna ask you, can they go inside your house because 'cause they've never seen a house like that before. They want you to be their newest best friend because they just paid a lot of money for this once in a lifetime adventure for them, without understanding that there's a price to be paid and that they could be infringing on somebody else's regular meals and freedom from pain. Right? We are, no man is an island. We are in this together, but it's an amazing thing how we can be short-sighted about our own impact on others. And so that's kind of what my takeaway from this is to be mindful, to be as mindful as possible about what price our adventures cost, not just ourselves and our pocketbook, but to those who are impacted by our adventures. And that's not to say don't be bold. I'm all about being bold, but I'm also about being thoughtful. Anytime you go and you make a change, and we have these ideas, oh, change is good, and it is good. I mean, I love to learn, I love to change, I love to challenge myself, but I also know it's hard. And the reason why it's hard is because you need to be mindful of what that change brings. And you can never know totally for sure on anything. When I traveled, were people gracious to me? For the most part, yes. They were amazingly gracious to me. And then I realized that it can be an exchange. How equal the exchange is as it's up to me to a certain extent, because I only have so much agency in the situation. It's up to me to do as much as I can within that agency to make sure that the exchange is as equal as can be. I remember being in Thailand, and there was when I was in Thailand, it was at the end of the Vietnam War, and so we did visit the refugee camps. We were supposed to go and see the temples in Cambodia. Little did I know at the time that there was a mass genocide going on there. It was right at the mass genocide time, but we wouldn't have seen it because guess what? We were American tourists. And even though there was mass genocide going on, we would not have seen it. So we would have gone back. If we had gone in, we'd have gone back and reported, oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, the government is doing such a wonderful job, right? Because we don't see the whole picture. We don't understand what it's like to live there, to be seeking the basic necessities of food and, our live a day world. And that brings me to Hawaii again. Like I've got decades and decades of experience in Hawaii as a tourist, as a military brat, as an adult who lived there for 15 of my adult years, as a mother to kids who are half Pacific Islander. I've got a little different take on it now than I did, and I did initially, and probably a little bit different take in how most of you guys, see that. Um, and, just think a little bit when you go, what impact you have, and make that exchange as joyful and as giving as you possibly can. I think that's what we can do. All right. Well, we're out of time again. These 10 minutes go so quickly. And we'll see you tomorrow. So have a blessed day.